So as you can see, the mechanism is now threaded through this slot, and it can be useful to use your set square just to check that it is at right angles to the slot, which this one is. So if you use your masking tape, little tiny bits of masking tape, to mask tape it into position while you get your guide, and again get some more masking tape, you're going to position it just beside the flap with the circle in it and slot it under like so, and you want it so it's just either side of the tail mechanism. So check that it's in position, put some masking tape either side, and then you can take these bits off and just check that it's running correctly through the slot. So flip it over. So that's running pretty well, isn't it? So again, flip it over. Once I'm happy with the position of the guide, I put a little bit more masking tape in position just to hold it in place while you do one end at a time. Take the masking tape off, get a bit of glue, and just carefully lift it up and put a little bit of glue just on that flap. Be really careful not to get any glue on the other parts of the mechanism, okay? Hold it in position. And then do the second part. Lift it up, and again, just get some glue on it, on that flap, and just be really careful not to get any glue on the other parts of the mechanism. Okay? And then when you think it's dried, it's a fine balance between making sure it's dry and making sure it's not stuck enough so that if it's not right, you can move it. So we'll peel off this masking tape and just check that the tail mechanism is working correctly. So that seems to be okay, doesn't it? So we'll put that to one side for just now. I'm just going to show you how to do the jaw. You cut out the jaw on the black line, and you just stick it onto a scrap piece of card to strengthen it, and then you trim it. I tend to use a combination of scissors and a craft knife for this part, and as you can see, the jaw has quite a thick black line, which I've done on purpose, so if you do make a slight mistake when you're cutting, it's not a disaster. Cut around this part, and then I usually trim up to the edge of the teeth with a pair of scissors, like that. And then I use a craft knife to get to the more difficult flat bit. So let's go around these teeth with the scissors, like so. And then we'll cut out those last few bits with a craft knife. As you can see, nearly there. Last little bit of the jaw. I should have said before we start, make sure that you use a really sharp craft knife for all of this work. I use the kind of craft knives that you can snap off a bit of the blade if it starts to get blunt. And you can see there why it's really important to press hard and have a sharp blade. Cleaning off. You'll be able to take a lot more time than me to make sure that all of this is done neatly. You sometimes stick in those little corners. Okay, so that's the jawline prepared. And now we turn to the hub. So there's a score line there that you fold in, and then these two little flaps, you score and fold them. So they're like that. You glue this big flap. Fold it over and glue it. Like so. Now you're ready to put all of it together. So make sure that your tail is in as much as it can be in. Then from the other side, get your hub mechanism, thread it through the hole at the back in the flap, and then put the two small flaps, sorry, I'm blocking the light, put the two small flaps through the front, as you can see. So this is the closed position. The closed position is when the tail is in. So as you can see, that little hub is turning. So you want it to be in as much as possible. Then you're going to stick your jaws on with it in the closed position and the teeth closed. And you might want to use a little bit of masking tape again here just to hold it in position, but make sure you take as much of the stick off your masking tape as possible, because you don't want to lift any of the colour of the print off. So I'm just going to use a little bit of masking tape here to hold it in position. I'm going to lift up the jaws and I'm going to apply glue to the flaps, but only the flaps. If you apply glue anywhere else, your hub won't work. So put glue on those little flaps like that, and then lay your jaw back in position and wait for it to dry. Then when you think it's dry, carefully peel off your masking tape. Sorry, I'm blocking the light, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to do that just for a second. Okay. Once everything's done, you can put that under a heavy book just to put the jaw down. But as you can see, that's the jaw closed, and when you pull the tail, the jaw should open. So if you've assembled it correctly, that's your dinosaur mechanism working. And like I say, what I usually do is I just put it under some heavy books for a couple of hours just to make sure that that jaw is in place. That's your happy mechanical dinosaur.